All right, let's do a little recap here. I'm at the Hard Rock in Cincinnati. They have a seniors tournament. $400 buy-in, $100 bounties. I knocked out one guy. Basically, I flopped a set of twos and got let out. And then the original raiser just called. I re-raised, and it was kind of a dry board. It was like 9-7 deuce rainbow. And then the one guy who initially let out folded. And then he jammed. Of course, I'm not folding the set. I called. And he had pocket jacks. Kind of weird how he played that. Turn was a fold, and the guy that initially let out complained because he said he had pocket fours. I'm like, boy, I'm glad I raised that flop. That would have been gross. He would have knocked me out, honestly. I don't think I'm folding the set there. But had that one. I made one big mistake where I was in the blinds, and it was like min raise, like 6 ways or something. I called it some garbage. I think it was like 8-5 of diamonds or something for min raise. So flop comes like 8-4 deuce, something like that. Bet call. I was a top pair. I'm not going to fold. Turn was another 8, gave me trips. And it come back around to me. I bet the turn. And everyone folded except the one guy called, initial raiser. And then the river was a blank. And there was a lot of draws on the board. So I felt like he checked to me, and I felt like, boy, he either has missed draws or he might have me beat because I had a shit kicker with my trips. And maybe he's just sandbagging a boat. You know, people check call with the boat on the turn or something. But honestly, the fact of the matter is nobody is like just checking to check raise or check call. He only had like less than a half pot size bet left behind. And I should have bet the river. And I would have taken him out and gotten a $100 bounty. I made a weak check back. That was my mistake. I should have bet there. He flipped over pocket queens, so he was playing queens like kind of cagey. But I doubt for like if he's getting 3-1. I doubt he's with all those draws missing. I missed out there because I would have had an extra 10,000 in chips and a $100 bounty. I think if I had bet, so that was my mess up. But besides that, running pretty good, doing pretty good. I don't know how many chips I got, but I'm in good shape. So, end of break 1. All right, we're on the second break. I rebought. I wasn't going to. Everyone was getting along great. And then this black guy, Carlos, comes and sits down. And he had like king, queen. I had like 10-9. I raised. He just limp called. Flop gave me a pair and an open-ender. And he check jammed. And I ended up calling. But he flipped over his cards and he was only showing one. The dealer didn't say anything. So I said, oh, can you show the other one? Because you're supposed to show 2 cards. Like, he just had one exposed. He's like, well, what the fuck's your cards? What do you do? He wanted to get in a fight with me. He's like, let's go outside. I mean, just blew up over nothing. And I'm like, holy shit. Some people never grow up. Like, some black guy, Carlos, just wants to fight me because I asked him to show 2 cards, which is the rules, right? I said it nicely. I just said, hey, can you show the other one? What the fuck? Why do I gotta show them? I'm like, holy shit. 2-year-olds. That just blows me away. Some people never grow up. They just want to fight over nothing, really? You're fucking supposed to be a grown-ass man. You obviously aren't. So, anyway, him just put me on tilt. I shouldn't let it. I should have got up and walked and taken a break. But I ended up just dunking off the rest of the chips, calling down with second pair, and thinking that he could be raising the turn with a draw or something. And of course he's not. You know, he just happened to hit 2 pair. He called with like 6-9 offsuit and hit his 2 pair on the turn. So anyway, I rebought. Thankfully, a different table, and started off good right off the bat. I had a guy that limped in the cutoff. I was in the big line. I raised the jacks to 4,000. I only started with 40,000 or 30 or whatever it is. Starting stack is. He limp jammed on the cutoff. I think jacks is just too strong here. Obviously, he's got a hand, but so I called. He had pocket 9s, kind of weird. So I doubled up off him, thankfully, and then a lady had called when I'd raised pre-flop with 8-6 of spades. Pretty loose, but I do that a lot of times in these tournaments because I just feel it's profitable. I know where I'm at. I'm pretty good playing post-flop, and feel I have an edge, obviously. So I will open wider than I would against tougher competition. So anyway, I raised and I bet the flop. She just called turn was Queen of Spades. Gave me the flush. And I bet, and she raised me big on the turn. I'm like, holy shit, does she have a higher flush? I'm not going to fold yet, though. So half my stack's in there now. I called the 20,000 raise. And then the river went check, check, and I was good. She had turn top 2 pair. So it's probably correct for her to do that. I'm not sure what GTO says, but I'm just probably correct. Charge if I have a high spade or something. But anyway, I don't know if I should bet the river. I think I played it right. So if she bombs the river and goes all in, then I might probably have to fold, honestly, with an 8 high flush. But thankfully I took that one down. So I started out good on bullet 2. So that's it. Okay, we're on dinner break. I'm sitting with about 270,000 in chips, which is about 50 bigs. So I'm sitting pretty good. I had one big hand where I raised to like 6,000. Guy, a real loose player, calls, and then the guy jams all in for 26,000. So I'm like, well, you know what? I had pocket sevens. I'm thinking that's strong enough, but I should have isolated. I really should have re-raised because the other guy was really deep too. We both had about 150,000 in chips at least, something like that. So, but I just called, and he called. I'm like, okay, great, 3-way. So I pocket sevens. The flop comes 5-6-3. I bet 20,000 because I just want to protect my hand, kind of get it heads up, and he calls. Okay. The turn was an 8, which gives me an open ender. Now I'm not loving this. I got a pair in an open ender, but this pot is getting big now. It's like 100,000 pot, and we both got like 100 behind, and that's a shit ton of big blinds. So I ended up checking, and he bets 40,000, and I'm like, geez, oh Pete's. I got a pair in an open ender. I feel like I'm probably good. This guy's really active, so I don't know why into a dry side pot he would bet a worse hand, but I felt like he would. So I called. I only got about 40,000 behind. Turn was a blank, and it goes check, check, and I was happy to see that. He had pocket 4s, so he was going crazy with a pair and a gutter, and I had a higher pair in an open ender, and thankfully, I won the pot, and that was a big one I won. So that really got me up there. And then the other big pot was I raised with ace queen of spades, had multiple callers. The flop was all low, it was like 8-4 deuce or something. So it got checked through. I'm not gonna bet that. Turn was a queen, and this old guy, he bets out, but he bets out weak. So it kind of looked like a weak queen, like he had something, but nothing great. So I'm not folding, top pair, top kicker. So I called. And the other guy just calls, and there's like straight draws and flush draws out there. So you'd think if he had 2 pair or a set or something, he would raise. The river was a 5, pairing the board, and it's Queen 8-5-5 on something else. And the guy bets out really weak again on the river, and I'm like, okay, I got to raise here for value. I feel like, there's probably 80,000 in there. He bets like 13,000, so I raise it up to 40 for value, thinking I can get called by a queen. And then the guy behind me, who was flatting the whole way, he jams for only 20 more. So, of course, I feel like I'm beat here. I gotta be beat, right? He's not jamming unless, ace queen cannot be good here. There's no way ace queen is good here. But I'm getting like 6-1 at 20,000 to win over 100. It was like, I should fold. I really should fold, but I called. Sometimes you see people do silly stuff like maybe he thought king queen was good or something, but I don't think that's the case. I think I'm just never good here, but I called. He had pocket 8s, so he flopped a set and river to vote, and he just flat called the whole way with all these draws out and filled up on the river. So, unfortunately, that cost me probably 100,000. Chunk of my stack, maybe 80,000, something like that. But I'm still sitting okay. So those are the big hands, and we're on break now. And I guess we'll see what happens. Well, understatement is I need a new camera. This is a mess. I am very tilted. I was going into the break with like 17 left, 9 get paid. I have like 60 big blinds. And somehow I managed to fucking bubble. And one hand, I hadn't run a big bluff a whole tournament. And usually it's not good too in these tournaments. People can't fold. And I raised an early position and got a couple callers. I had pocket sevens, and mid to early position. And the flop come King Jack 5, rainbow, and checked to me, and I checked. I don't know why I didn't just c-bet small. I should have just c-bet. I could have taken it out and be over. But I bet. And no, I checked. Sorry, and I got checked through. Turn was an ace. And the small blind let out. And he let out really small. And it just screamed the weakness, right? It just like, when you see such weakness like that, I'm like, he's got a really weak ace or a king. Like, he's not happy with his hand, but he's got something. So being the pre-flop raiser, I raised big, and it gets back around to him, and he hems and haws, and he caws. The river was, sorry, there's not a 5 but a 3 on the flop. The river was a 3 pairing the board, and he checks, of course, and I pretty much put him all in. I bet big, and he doesn't think about it too long, and he calls, and it was still like, it was first tournament live. It was like 30 bigs, and I thought I could get him to fold a weak ace. And I was wrong. The problem with my bluff, I mean, you're beat there 9 times out of 10. I think it's a horrible call by him. But I should not bluff a rec player like that when the run-up was like it was. Mainly because he thinks I'm really polarized, right? He thinks I'm not betting ace-king or ace-queen, which I would be. I'm playing ace-queen the exact same way. Believe me or not, I am. And because I want him to call it ace. I probably raise not as big because I don't want him to fold. But anyway, the fact that the obvious straight came in on the turn, so that is telling me that, okay, he's put me on a straight or nothing. He doesn't think I'd raise big with a big ace or 2 pair, which I would. If I had like ace jack, I turn 2 pair, of course I would raise. And he would not think that. He'd think, oh, well, I must have like a straight or nothing. The other problem with barreling off here is people don't fold in the board pairs. I don't know what it is. It's just a thing against rec players. If that board pairs, you do not want to bluff. Because now he's like, well, I got aces and 3s with a king kicker. Like, you know, his kicker doesn't even play if he has ace queen or something, which it wouldn't. But so he's never folding. So for those reasons, it was a bad bluff by me. If the board was a little different, I like it, but the same old adage sometimes, man. People don't fold top pairs, so even if they're weak, you just got to go for max value, let them pay you off. Sure enough, he was out 20 minutes later, you know. But it took away half my stack. So now I'm sitting at like 20 bigs, and I dwindled down to like 15 bigs, and there's a number of people that there's like a guy with 5 bigs, another guy with 6 bigs, another guy with 10 bigs, another guy with 2 bigs, and we were only one off the money. And guy raises in the cutoff, and I look down in the big blind with my fucking hand that clobbers me to death. I feel like I should just throw it in the muck whenever I see it, because I always get knocked out in tournaments with it. But I look down in the big blind with ace king suited. I jam my 15 bigs. Guy snap calls the pocket 5s, which, by the way, is not a good call because I am doing that with all my bigger pairs. You know, 7s, 8s plus, then ace king and maybe ace queen. But and against that range, pocket 5s is not doing well. If he's lucky, he's flipping. Anyway, and I lost the flip, so I'm out. Paid 9. I got knocked out in the 11th or 10th. I think it was 11th, and then. Like I said, there was a number of really shorties after me. I really could have folded my way into the money, which irks me. So that's what happened. End of story. I really wish I hadn't ran that big bluff. It's the only first time I ran a huge bluff like that in the whole tournament. And because I sensed weakness, but the fact that the board was, you know, could be polarizing. The fact that, you know, there's a straight on the turn, and the fact that the board paired on the river made it for a candidate that I really shouldn't try bluffing a guy off the top pair. Even though, I mean, it kind of blew me away he called, because nobody turns pocket 7s into a bluff like I just did there. And I did, just because I sensed the weakness. I mean, you just don't see that in these tournaments. And ended up posing me and got me short and got me knocked out. So, well, that's long story short. That's what happened. I'm really on tilt because I ended up losing money when hell, I could have folded my way into the money, and I was sitting really good at the break. And lesson learned: don't try bluffing someone off top pair, even if they seem weak, especially if there's obvious straights out there where they think you're polarized, they think you have the straight or nothing. They don't think you would do that with two pair, even though I would. And when the board pairs, those two things kind of made it where against a bad player, I should just not try running a bluff there. I think that works against a good player, but and then one of the guys there, he folded, and he was upset when he saw the result. Probably had the best hand, ace with a better kicker. I got him to fold, but couldn't get this guy to fold. So sorry about the bad quality. I need to get a better camera. Hopefully you guys learned something. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff.